Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ronnie Ocampo. Maybe you've applied to be a wildland firefighter, or you're considering applying and you're just curious to know kind of like what a day-to-day routine will look like and any of the gear, the equipment, the training that you're going to get. So that's what I wanted to go over today, just so you kind of have an idea going into it, or kind of help you make up your mind whether you want to apply for the position or not. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. I'm very grateful that I started out in a federal position. My friend, she right out of high school, she wanted to firefighting, she got me into it, and so I'm very, very grateful that I started in a federal position because I didn't have to pay for anything. All of the training, all the equipment, all the gear, everything was provided for me, which at the time I didn't realize, but now looking back on it, I'm very grateful for. So as a first year, they took us for a week-long training up in the mountains for hands-on training, and lodging was paid for, meals was paid for, all the training was paid for. And then we came back and had about a week or two of training. This was PowerPoints, briefers, things like that. And then we had all the different classes that you had to complete to make sure that you were qualified to go out on a fire. All of that was done and completed. And this was with the entire district, which was really cool because now looking back on it, we all got to mingle and you got to know all the people in the district. So when you actually ended up on a fire, you already knew the people or had an idea of who they were. You'd seen their faces, you'd heard their voices before. So when you're on the radio, you kind of know who's talking and you don't feel as nervous, I guess. You already kind of had that rapport with everyone, which is really great. Another thing that we did was we took a pack test, so you could get your red card, so you were qualified to go out on a fire for that as well. And all that training was paid for. All I had to do was show up. I literally had zero experience. Like I said, I was right out of high school. This was my very first job, and I still got hired. So I went on to USA Jobs. I signed up through there. I put in my resume, basically bare bones. It literally had like, I have no experience, but I still want to do this. And they were like, all right, cool, you're in. So it just depends on the area that you're applying for, if they have the positions available. I also called the department and talked to them. They walked me through the process, and you could actually go into the fire department and someone would help you walk through the whole process. At least that's what ours did, just to make sure that everyone who did apply, their applications didn't get kicked back, so that they would be on schedule to get their resume in, their application in, so that way they could get hired in time for the fire season. So they made it really, really easy, and I'm sure you can call your district or your department and talk to them about it. As far as equipment goes, this is all like truck stuff and tools, things like that. All that's provided, at least for a federal position. I'm not sure about any other of the positions because that's the only one I worked for, but all that stuff is provided. And as far as gear goes, this is kind of a big one that I didn't realize at the time either, is that everything was provided for you. And this isn't just like your PPE stuff. This is like a tent, a sleeping bag, a red bag, all the items that go into the bag, like little things like moleskin, aspirin, first aid kit, all kinds of stuff like that, like flagging, all that's provided for you. And I didn't realize that not every company or agency out there provides that for you, because now that I'm a volunteer, I have to buy all that stuff, and that was a big eye-opener for me. I just kind of expected to have all that stuff. Of course, they provide the basic PPE that you need. However, they don't provide anything for like your red bag, your sleeping bag, your tent, things like that. Like, you have to provide that yourself. So that was kind of a big eye-opener for me. I didn't realize that. Another thing, right out of high school, I didn't have the money for that stuff. So I'm really glad that that's where I started out my fire career, was federal. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely go that route, at least for the first year, you know what I'm saying? You can branch off and go other places and do other things, but at least you have that first year experience with a federal position, and you kind of get your feet wet, you kind of know what you need, what you don't need, and then you can also talk to other people and see what they like and how they do things out on the line, and kind of make your own best practices for the next year. As for my typical day, I would get up and I would drive 30 minutes to an outpost. We had our main department in town, but then we had a bunch of outposts all around, and so I worked at an outpost. So I would drive out there, and like I said, I love this job, so it really didn't bug me at all. So we'd get there, and then right off the bat, you would do truck checks. So this is everything from front to back, making sure everything was good to go. So when there is a fire, all you have to do is just hop in and go. So we'd make sure all the truck stuff was done, and then right after that we would brief. So this would be like, there is a certain name for this report and I can't remember for the life of me. We do this every single day and for some reason I can't remember the name of it. It's basically a situation report, and this tells you all the fires that are going on around the country, weather, safety, lightning, stuff like that. Basically just a situation report to get you up to date of like, here's what's going on around your area, so that way you're better prepared for, okay, this looks like today is going to be a good day for a fire, or it's going to be raining all day, you're probably not going to get a fire. But at least so that way you're up to date and you kind of know what's going on, especially around the country, so that way if a call does come out that you need to go to California, you know, you're prepared for it. Then after that we would do PT, so this was about an hour to an hour and a half I think that we had for PT. So there was only 4 of us, it was 3 guys and me, so they always wanted to play football or ultimate frisbee or something like that. So we had an outpost that was just like 30 minutes from us, so they would come down and we would play each other all the time for PT, and so that was a good time. And plus it's just boring when it's just the 4 of us all the time, so it was really nice to have visitors. Sometimes we would go on hikes with our packs, and then when we got back we would shower, get ready for the day. So this was typically around like, I would say like 10ish. So we had time to get ready, and then you would have lunch, and then while you're waiting for a fire, if you still don't have a call, we would do project work. So this is things like cleaning up the highway, building fence, patrolling. We would just do stuff like that all the time, just kind of to pass the time. Also we would do some training. Sometimes we would go like drafting or practice hose lays or just any kind of training, and that way plus you get signed off for your task book, which was kind of nice, or at least practice to get signed off on the task book while you were out on a fire. There is downtime, so the guys would really like to play video games. While they were doing that, I would go outside and I would read, or you just do whatever you want to do to pass the time until a fire comes in. Typically, at least in the area that I was in, we would get a fire between like 2 and 4 p.m. And of course, fire time is the best time. So you would be out on your fire, doing your thing, and then when you get back, you would always rehab the truck before you got to go home. So that was filling the water tank, basically cleaning out the truck, making sure everything was good, restocking the water and Gatorade and MREs, then getting all the stuff from your red bag that's dirty out so that you can wash it, clean it, so then the next day you can repack your red bag. I think that's about it. Yeah, basically just rehab the truck before you can go home. I would drive for 30 minutes home and then wait for another fire call between that time and when your shift started. So if there was no fire, then the next morning, start off with truck checks. That was a typical day for me, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. Yes, there are times where it's downtime and it kind of sucks, and the day goes on really, really long until you get a fire, and then it's awesome and it's amazing. But until then, you're just kind of doing whatever you can to get through the day to get to the fire time. Hopefully this video helped you guys, and you kind of got to look into what a typical day would be like, and the training and the gear and all that stuff. I miss it so much and I love it so much, and I just want to better prepare you guys for if you did apply or if you're considering applying, that I want you to get excited because it's going to be so great and so much fun. Hope you guys like this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you click the bell so you guys get notified when I post videos. Please leave comments down below and letting me know what type of video you guys want from me in the future. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.